Good afternoon, and thank you for being here today, all of you, as we celebrate a milestone for what will be the premier indoor sports and sports tourism venue in our county and region, the Henrico Sports and Events Center. You know, given the magnitude of this facility and the role that it will play in enhancing recreational and economic opportunities for our residents, visitors, and others in the community, we wanted to take a moment to give our supervisors and other key officials an opportunity to sign a piece of the building's structural steel. So thank you all again for allowing us to do that. Now, we knew we had to seize this moment because the steel frame will soon be covered. If you've watched a construction over the past few months, you know that this building is going up very quickly. A building, especially like the Henrico Sports and Events Center, doesn't just happen. It requires vision and leadership, which our supervisors have provided, and just as they've signed the steel frame, they are also leaving their mark on this community by delivering a facility that will spur tourism and fuel investment in this entire Virginia Center Commons area and indeed our region. But before we continue, I would like to introduce the members of the Board of Supervisors and School Board that are here. We have our Chair, Pat O'Bannon, Vice Chair, Frank Thornton, Dan Schmidt, Tyrone Nelson, Marcy Shea, and Reverend Roscoe Cooper. Thank you all for being here this afternoon. So without further ado, and I know Dennis has a program scheduled, I'd like to turn the program over to our Chair, Patricia S. O'Bannon.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, and welcome everyone to the Henrico Sports and Events Center. Remember the name. 2022 has been an outstanding year for Henrico County, and it has been my absolute pleasure to serve as the Board of Supervisors Chair. One of the highlights has been watching the Indoor Sports and Events Center, all 185,000 square feet of it, take shape. A project of this magnitude requires a lot of coordination, and I must commend everyone involved for getting us to this point. We're electrifying. If I touch this, it'll show you how much it's electrifying. First, thank you to my fellow supervisors and to the county manager for recognizing the economic and recreational benefits of sports tourism, and for understanding how an indoor facility can bring a new dimension to our efforts. Thank you also to our team in General Services, our partners with Rebke Company, everyone involved in the planning, design, and construction, and Dennis Bickmeyer and his staff at the Henrico Sports and Entertainment Authority. They've already, a good time all the time. Showtime all the time. They've already begun to market this facility for tournaments and other events. We expect it will be a busy place when it opens sometime next fall. At this time, I want to invite our board's Vice Chairman, Frank Thornton of the Fairfield District, to come and make some remarks. Mr. Thornton. Just don't touch it. Here.
Thank you, Chairman O'Bannon. Good afternoon and welcome to the Fairfield District. Okay. It is my pleasure to be here as we celebrate another milestone in the construction of the Henrico Sports and Events Center and another bold step in the reimagining of Virginia Center Commons. It has been wonderful to see this massive facility take shape over these past few months. What started as a dream for our community is, quite literally, rising before us. In a few moments, we will hear from a panel of experts on the positive impacts that the Sports and Events Center will have on our county and region. I do want to highlight a few of the benefits for our community. The facility will expand opportunities for our youth and their families. In addition to hosting tournaments and other sporting events, we are creating a place that will host high school graduations, concerts, expos, and other special events. In short, this will be a place for everyone. Tout le monde. Right now, we don't have anything like this in our county or region. The possibilities are limited only by our and your imaginations. With this facility, we are reinvesting in Virginia Center Commons area and ensuring that its future is bright and not dismal. This county's public investment and community-focused planning efforts are spurring even greater private investment in the area with new housing, restaurant, and more. This shows what can happen when you make sound decisions and find strong partners. As we move into winter, I hope the weather cooperates with our construction schedule and wish everyone a wonderful holiday season. Joyeux Noël, Feliz Navidad. I look forward to all in us coming back right to this place in 2023 to see the progress and eventually to celebrate the opening with a ribbon cutting. Thank you now as I invite my partner, one of my august partners, as I have four other ones, Mr. Dan Schmidt, Mr. Tyrone Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Thornton. I'll be brief. I just want to say thank you. Take a moment, folks, please, and look around at the leadership assembled here today by your presence of all of our different partners. And quite honestly, we have this conversation all the time. My colleagues and I do. Certainly the manager and all of us have had this conversation. Our county and our region is fueled on this type of partnership. Look around and see who's here today supporting an effort such as this. This is a public initiative on behalf of our county that's going to support the kids in our region, it's going to support the families in our region, and it's certainly going to support those folks in another way through the tourism dollars that is created through a facility like this. So please take a moment. I just want to say thank you as chair of Richmond Region Tourism and as a member of this board. I want to say thank you for the partnership that you bring to this county with your visible presence here today and what you do every single day. So that's my message to you on behalf of my colleagues and on behalf of this county and on behalf of Richmond Region Tourism. Thank you for the partnerships that you're putting forth here today and every day to make things like this a reality here in our county. Thank you. Mr. Bickmeyer, are you next, sir?
I am.
All right, well, Dennis Bickmeyer, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt, members of the Board of Supervisors, Mr. Manager. Thank you all for your comments. And good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the Henrico Sports Entertainment Authority, thank you all for being here. It really does mean a lot to us. And I want to thank our partners at the Recreation and Parks Department for their assistance today. And then throughout this project, their ongoing assistance is invaluable, as well as our communications department. As Mr. Schmidt said, it's fantastic to look out here and see so many folks here, but so many from our sports community that's here, from schools, from universities that are represented, from some of our other sports partners here throughout the region. So thank you all for being here. We wanted to do something a little different today. You've heard me speak about this building and the opportunity that it presents. You've heard all the stats, and so we wanted to try and do something a little bit different to talk about what we really feel is a game changer for our region. So we thought we'd spend some time with a few experts from their respective fields, some individuals who have played in facilities like this and understand firsthand the opportunity that a facility like this can provide for our local athletes, our youth, and the development of our youth in the sports that they can play here. So, and also what it means for tournaments and sports tourism. So we have two amazing athletes who have played basketball and volleyball most of their lives, and are always amazing guru of tourism here as well from Richmond Region Tourism. So I'm going to hand this mic over to them, let them introduce themselves, get some background on their careers, and then we'll do a quick Q&A with each one of them.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Taj Cole. I'm from Henrico, Virginia. I grew up playing YMCA basketball, upward basketball. My dad put me in flag football, only girl on the team. But then once I realized basketball was, you know, probably the best selection for me as far as sports, it all depended on what gym I could get into. So I just want to thank you guys for inviting me here, and you don't know how much this place means to me.
Hi, my name is Nicole Bryce. I've grown up in Chesterfield my whole life. I played every single sport imaginable. I ended up playing volleyball my freshman year in high school, and I kind of just stuck with it. I currently play for Randolph-Macon College, about 12 minutes away in Ashland. A gym like this would be amazing. It is amazing. I had to travel for so many weekends and everything like that, so many hours. So it's amazing that it's in my hometown and I can just go 15 minutes away.
Good afternoon, I'm Jack Berry, Richmond Region Tourism, a resident of Henrico County. And actually, my background is professional sports, which brought me to Virginia many years ago. I was the tennis circuit. And so, do you want me to continue on my little...
I'll get to the question in a second.
All right, good question. So that's my background, and I'm glad to be here today.
So all three are being very modest. So we all know Jack as our leader of Richmond Region Tourism. Taj, who also didn't mention, is a current player in the WNBA for the Connecticut Sun. We have our professional basketball representative. And Nicole, the Randolph-Macon team won the ODAC this year. So congratulations to Randolph-Macon for winning the ODAC in volleyball this year. So, but Jack, we will lead off with you on our first question. We hear this term sports tourism a lot. Tell us about the history of sports tourism here in Henrico.
So today, the sports tourism is quite the trend nationally. We were just fortunate to host the U.S. Sports Congress here for the last week from 150 people from all over the country. But the most interesting part is sports tourism. And Henrico's been the pioneer of sports tourism. And Dennis and I were talking about this yesterday because a luncheon was out at the racetrack. And 75 years ago, sports tourism was really introduced to Virginia because it's the only major league sport in Virginia is NASCAR. And NASCAR, throughout the years, even to current day, has the highest occupancy of hotels on those NASCAR weekends. But also, decades ago, an unsung hero from Lakeside was named Frank Taylor. And many of you don't know he was an attorney, but on Memorial Day, he used to host what he called the world's largest softball tournament. I always wondered if it was, but he always said it was. But this is 50, 60 years ago, and he would sell out the entire region with the softball tournaments that he brought. At the same time, we had the West End Strikers come, and they started decades ago, and then they launched, of course, the Jefferson Cup. And I was with Jay Howell, I don't know if he's here today, we met earlier this week. They're turning away 600 teams this coming March. They go over 4 weekends and sell out every hotel between Williamsburg and Fredericksburg, and that's sports tourism. And then, of course, modern day, with Richmond Volleyball Club, they do a magnificent job on every single weekend, but it goes across all boundaries, and it's a huge impact. So now, fast forward to the future, it's behind us. This is going to be a huge asset for sports tourism in Central Virginia.
Thank you, Jack. Yes, round of applause for that. Thank you. Next, we're going to turn it over to Nicole. Growing up playing at RVC and traveling for tournaments, how might a facility like this, a facility that can convert to 24 volleyball courts under one roof, impacted you and your teammates when you were playing at a younger age?
So I played for national level teams for a couple of years in high school. I would travel every weekend, multiple hours, just to play at a tournament. So having a facility that's closer to home would have limited my travels. Also given my team and I just another opportunity to get better in a different gym with different surroundings, different settings, with also updated equipment as well.
Great. So as a follow-up to that, where do you see the sport of volleyball today? Not just at the club level, but collegiately, as you're playing, nationally, and where are the opportunities for volleyball to continue to grow and develop talent?
this gym that is being built right now is definitely the biggest opportunity I could think of. It gives players, younger players, older players, an opportunity to get together in their hometown without having to travel, and some people can't travel the way I did. Just give them the opportunity to get better.
Great, thank you. We'll turn it over to Taj next. So, Taj, having played AAU basketball, college basketball, and now professionally in the WNBA, how can you see this facility making an impact on youth basketball and basketball overall in our region?
I think this is bigger than the region. I want to say that I grew up playing AAU basketball and traveling too, and I've been to Maryland and DC area and North Carolina, South Carolina. There's nothing like this. There's no facility that has 15 courts, basketball courts, am I correct?
12.
12 basketball courts that we can just host events at, tournaments and things like that. Growing up for AAU, there was no like set gym that we could practice in. We had to use high schools, we had to use, you know, different facilities, and people were overbooked, and some days my practices would get canceled and I would be devastated. You know, I just love the game that much, and so to have a place like this where I can for sure come to, where younger kids can come to and their practices won't get canceled because it's space, it's a family environment and somewhere that they can come to, this means a lot.
It's great. And as a follow-up to you, like again, where do you see the opportunities for young people in the game of basketball, especially females? You know, what's your message to kids and parents about the great game of basketball and what it's done for you?
I think basketball can take you a lot of places. I've been to many countries. I've been to almost every state. I think that with hard work and with a reliable gym and people supporting you, a good supporting cast, basketball can take you a lot of places. And you can meet a lot of people and just become a better human, a better person overall. So I think that this is huge, and I'm excited for what women's basketball has grown to be. It's getting better every year. Even with the pay, you know, I make pretty good money now. So I'm excited. Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you. We're going to send it back over to Jack for another question. Jack, when you look across this facility, what excites you and your team at Richmond Region Tourism when you see a facility like this?
So the best thing about this is the diversity of sports. We're talking about volleyball, we're talking about basketball, but we have just an open palette of many sports that can come here indoors. You've got martial arts, you've got NCAA events, you've got ping pong, you've got platform tennis,
Pickleball.
Tennis players are not so hot about pickleball, but it does do a lot of sports tourism, even during the pandemic, but they can do that indoors. So the variety that we saw this week with the Sports Congress here, there's just an unlimited number of sporting events, cheerleading. The list goes on, and again, I think you were taking orders when the Congress was here, signing up events this past week.
That's great. Thank you. And this is both for Taj and Nicole. As you both were playing as young athletes, can you reflect a little on the commitment you made to your respective sport and the commitment your families made and why that was important to you?
I traveled, again, every weekend, national level teams. My mom has a full-time job. She would take off from work just to come and travel with me. Sometimes she couldn't make it. My dad traveled with me all the time. It meant the world. Some of my family members that live in New York would end up traveling. So just to have family members to support you, it really helps. I missed a lot of school events in high school. I missed both my proms for travel. So, I mean, volleyball has been my life for 5-6 years now, and it will continue to be my life. So, it's amazing.
I missed prom too. I just want to say that. But no, I have to thank my parents. Both of my parents actually quit their jobs to make sure that I was able to travel and go to different tournaments and be seen by many college scouts. And they opened up their own gym just for me. So it's grown now to become a local private school here in Virginia. But I thank them for taking that risk, for really realizing how much I love basketball and helping me make my dreams come true. But I think Virginia helped me become an All-American. Virginia helped me be able to help other youth now. You know, I love coming home, giving back to this area. I love showing that it can be possible. And with this, I just think there would be even more WNBA players, more professional volleyball players, all sports. So I'm really excited.
But we do hope this is a place where dreams are made for sure. All right, one last question for y'all. Todd, you can hang on to the mic. This is more of a test for our team here. So if we got together in 10 years and had a conversation about this facility, what would be the one thing you would want to evaluate us on and say we accomplished with this facility 10 years down the road?
I would want to evaluate how many nationwide connections you guys make. I think this is huge for our region, but if you need help, I can definitely get this thing to be nationwide because I think this is bigger than what we're saying. You know, I would just want to make sure that we're reaching out to so many people. We're going to bring many people from different states to our home, and this is something that we don't have, but I see the future of it right now. So.
You can pass it down.
Outside of just volleyball and basketball, I would say the most successful thing looking back in 10 years would be the amount of different sports that you guys bring in from different areas, not just the state, not just the region, like Tosh has been saying. Just giving more people the opportunity to have what we had in our area is successful enough.
So the common theme at the Congress this week is that there are facilities across the country, but the really differentiation for our destination are the people. We have the best team out here, bar none, in the country. And with Dennis and his leadership here, what I envision in 10 years is it'll be done, is you're going to have to expand this building. Because you only have 52 weekends to book. And I dare say, the next 6 months, you will book all 52 of those weekends. So I really do see, in the forecast, another expansion to double the size of this building less than 10 years out.
Well, thank you, Jack. Thanks for, that's a little added pressure, but we're ready for it. This team's ready for it. So let's give our panelists a round of applause. Thank you guys very much. We really appreciate you being out here. And again, they'll be available for interviews as well. And I think we've reached that moment in time. I know the steel workers are anxious to get to work and actually hang that piece of steel that everybody signed. So I think, are we going to be able to move that way? I think Jeffrey's going to give them the thumbs up, and we'll be able to see that piece of steel go up. So again, thank you all for being out here today. We'll be around for a little while to hang out as well. And there's some hard hats here. If anyone who wants to jump inside and get a real feel for actually how big this building is, please let us know. Thank you all and have a great afternoon.